Hey, what's up, guys? And welcome back to another Magic the Gathering online league. We're back once again with Temur Eldrazi Ramp. I know yesterday I was saying, oh, we're going to stick with Karn. I think it makes more sense. But as I kept on looking at the data numbers, I'm more and more convinced that Temur might be the way to go. It's just that we need to figure out a good sideboard. And I think that's going to be the hardest part. So I've made some tweaks to the main board based on the numbers, made some tweaks to the sideboard based on the things that I feel like I'm struggling against. And I'm going to go from there. Let's see, we go Lab, we tuck Devourer, we cast Talisman. I'd like to take the Chrysalis, the only problem is that we can't cast it, right? So I'm thinking instead we grab the Temple. Imprint, cast, and pass. This way we can command X equals 3 next turn, and then cast Drifter the turn after. Thundering Falls, we'll pass in full. A Mountain. I was a bit worried about that, so this will be interesting now. I will play Eldrazi Temple, and at this point we'll just hold. We're more or less just hoping that this command can do enough damage. Really? Nothing? What? I am very confused. Let's scry draw. Yeah, for Storm to pass a turn in full is weird to me. We could go for a kick to Myco Spawn, but is that really the best choice we have? I mean, if they're short on resources, then maybe. Top. Rather a World Breaker, but we get what we get. I think, yeah, we'll just go for it. Let's kick Thundering Falls, reduce resources, if that was the issue. We could threaten another command by going Temple, Lab, Tuck, Drifter. I think I will do that. Just to threaten that we have more resources available. Make them think we have a second command. It's worth a shot. If that's what they were fearing for last time, this at least might continue that fear. Not sure why they'd be that fearful of a command, but we never know. Well, there's the ritual. So why did they not pop off last turn? What was the concern when our field is basically the same, if not better? Why go for it? I mean, red-green isn't a reason. Interesting. Runs Resolve. There's a Wish and Manamorphose, so they'll probably pop off of Manamorphose first. I think at this point, we just put a pause on end step and let them send it. I don't think there's much else for me to do. There's Ral. So maybe they're worried about us exiling Ral? Maybe. They want the flip. They need to wait another time. The thing is, Wish here is going to be able to grab a Past in Flames. Especially now as they are double discounted. So yeah, if they just go Past in Flames, then they should be able to flip the Ral, and it's pretty much GG's from there. I don't foresee us making it out. Yep. The biggest thing here, it's not a deterministic win. Here comes the Past in Flames. They can flip Ral at any point now, but they lose the flip. So this is against Ruby Storm. Morale flips. I mean, the biggest thing we're going to be bringing in, of course, is Soulless Jailer. Let me take a look at my sideboard guide real quick for whatchamacallit. I know I don't have one specifically for Temur yet. Open. Let's open sideboard guide. I do need to make... I guess I do have one for Temur, but it's Karn. I forget if I recommend bringing in Dismember, Jailer, Dismember. Yeah. I guess we can do that. Bring in Jailer, bring in Dismember. But I have to look at what we're cutting. That's a good question. I mean, we're definitely cutting the K return, right? So there's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. Do we have 2 cards to cut for lands? I mean, Cavern of Souls right now on the play, as I assume we're going to be for game 2, unless somehow our opponent whiffs here, but I'm not expecting that to be the case, especially if a Wish in the yard that they can grab back, and another Past in Flames. Yeah, no shot. Yeah, I mean, Gemstone, and I guess Ghost Quarter is not really needed, neither is Bojuka Bog. Like, Bojuka Bog is okay. The only reason Bojuka Bog is actually okay in this matchup is in the instance that they somehow like get to this point here and fizzle. And at that point, I either need a Sowing Mycospawn or Bojuka Bog in hand for that to matter. So, give and take there. Yeah. I think maybe cutting Bojuka Bog and Gemstone should be enough, and then when we want Gemstone back in, if we make it to game 3, we take out the Ghost Quarter, run 21 lands, 2 Dismembers, 3 Soulless Jailers, and see how that works. I don't think there's anything else. I mean, I guess one could argue maybe Vandal Blast, which is... I saw someone using it in lieu of a Meltdown. I think it might be better for Affinity matchup. Just because it is 1 mana cheaper to basically blow up their artifacts without affecting our own, which is kind of nice. It is worse into, let's say, Kethis combo, but I haven't seen a lot of that recently, so until that sees more play, I think we're fine with Vandal Blast over, let's say, Meltdown. So yeah, Dismember, Jailer in, and we'll cut Gemstone, Bog, and Jailer, Dismember, and then run it like this. I'm not the biggest fan of Oof. I really wish Null Rod was in Modern. I'd play that in a heartbeat over Oof, but since Null Rod isn't, I think Oof is a fair enough playable card in Modern right now, especially with Belcher being like 9% of the meta. On the play for game 2, I mean, a Soul Land off the top would be good. A Green Source would be okay, but it's still not great. We really do need to see something better, I think. Okay, that is better. I will keep, and I think we pitch the Cavern of Souls. Yes. So Forest, Sprawl. Let's go red. And pass. And pass. So next turn we can play Soulless Jailer, and then at that point they're going to have to find a solution. Now, given that they play blue, it's more likely that they will be able to. I will play Malevolent Rumble. Yeesh. That is unfortunate. I mean, yeah, I think we go Talisman of Impulse, Temple, and I'll cast Jailer and pass. Next turn we'll ramp into Breaker. Yeah, because they play blue, they most likely are playing Flame of Anor, most likely in the main. I'd say between 1 and 3 copies, so they do have main deck ways of dealing with Jailer, so we do need some additional redundancy if at all possible. Reckless Impulse to dig, Manamorphose, that's fine. Draw. Another Tamp. Let's play the Talisman and pass. No attacks. And pass. The the flame. 'Tis the question of the day. Red, blue. Okay. Fetch Arid Mesas with the flame. It looks like if they need 3 mana. Oh. Interesting. Manamorphose. Okay, so they just wanted to get Manamorphose cast. Let's see. I mean, I'm able to play both Breaker and Jailer here. So let's get rid of a Thundering Falls and cast Jailer and pass and pass. I would like some more action off the top, but we're not in a bad position. Jailer really does put the pressure on opponent. Into the Flood Maw is interesting. I wonder if they thought we were on Karn, which is reasonable. 3, stock up. Interesting, stock up. So it's not... I wonder if this is the Baral version that we've played against once before, where they're running Baral. But no, we saw the Ruby Medallion, which doesn't make sense to me then. Yeah, stock up seems incorrect, right? Like, if they're playing stock up, I feel like they should be on Baral instead of Medallion. That would only make sense to me. But maybe I'm incorrect. Oof. We really are just bricking, aren't we? I mean, there's no reason right now for me to cast these, is there? 1, 2, 8, 10, 11. Okay, so I stand corrected because 2, 8, 10, 11. This way, if we draw into an Emrakul, we can play it. Would be the thought, right? You have a way to deal with Jailer. 'Tis the question of the day. There's a Ritual. That's a bit scary. There's Medallion. Okay. Why not play the Medallion before? Would it be the same difference? No, Medallion would make more sense, right? I'm not crazy for thinking that. Why go Ritual Medallion? And you could have gone Medallion Ritual, have 3 instead of 2 mana? Another Ritual. Okay. Static Prison you can't play. Wear Tear you can't play. So why go through the process of impulse drawing when you can't play it right now unless you have a solution for the Jailer? Jailer is such a good card. I think it is very much underrated. I'm glad that when we were doing testing for RC prep, that we noted how good Jailer was over Stonebrain. Stonebrain continues as I tested it briefly last week to demonstrate that it is just not a good option. We're just going to hold back the Breeding Pool. There's no reason for me to play it. Our draws have been god awful. Okay, comes down to this last draw now. Do they have way to interact? There's a Sacred Foundry. Down to 1. Do you have an Into the Flood Maw? Okay, they do. So now they could at least Static Prison the World Breaker, I suppose. Static Prison, World Breaker, that might be all they have. So that gives them 2 additional turns. I guess 3 turns, because it doesn't get back to me until after they run out of energy, right? And if they're doing that, that means they don't have the win, which would be my main concern, right? They could Wear Tear, reduce some mana. Interesting that didn't go Wear Tear, though. Why not? There's Ral. Okay. A Ritual. Oh, they're trying to flip the Ral. That's fine. Because they can't minus it. They plus. And pass. Okay. There's Chrysalis. So that's lethal on board now. Soulless Jailer and confirming 1, 2, 3, 9, 11, 13. So we're good as far as mana, so we might as well hold up the Breeding Pool just as a bluff. Static Prison trigger. Again, this is lethal on board. I was about to say, at this point they should know whether or not they have the win or loss. So we'll take the win for game 2. On to game 3. Well, like I said, cut the Ghost Quarter, bring back in the Gemstone. And run it back. Yeah, I kind of need to settle in on what my sideboard is going to look like and what version of Eldrazi ramp I'm going to be using, because my RCQ literally is in like 2 weeks. Is it even 2 weeks? Less than 2 weeks, ain't it? Let's see. Do you want to keep this? I mean, we have Dismember, so some limited interaction. We have a way to dig for solutions. Not my favorite, not my least. We'll keep and pass. They go down to 5. They might be now looking for ways to interact with Jailer, in which now we currently don't have. Either that or for the very quick win, right? Let's take Mire and pass. Fetch. I'm going to go for a Breeding Pool. Shock. Sprawl. For red. And pass. Bloodstain Mire. Fetch. Thundering Falls. And pass. And they play Ral. Obviously we have Dismember. I think regardless we go Rumble. Try and find a land if we miss one. Sacred Foundry, Shock, Ral, or Medallion. Medallion, unfortunate. Draw. There's the Jailer, though. Okay, so we could take a gamble, of course, and go Rumble, try and find a land, but if we whiff, then we can't cast the Jailer, so I think it's safer just to cast the Jailer, as the Jailer is what makes sure that we don't lose. So let's just go with that. Take a turn off. Not happy about it, but we'll work around it. There's the Ral. We have the Dismember, so that's fine. We draw. Let's Rumble. Yeesh, man. I'll go with the Talisman. And I'm going to go and Dismember you now. No time like the present to kill a Ral. And we'll pass. Ritual. Stock up. At the very least, we play the Talisman next turn. I think if we just draw into a untapped land, we might just Drifter, trying to find another land. At the same time, I mean, getting the Talisman down guarantees us. There's Grape Shot and Wish that they can't play. There's the Temple. Let's go Writhing Chris. Though, I do wonder, I could go Sowing Myco Spawn, not kicked, into Lab, into Talisman, which allow me to then cast either Null Drift or Devour. I think that might be better, just to try and guarantee us to 7. So Myco Spawn, Lab, we'll imprint a Drifter, gives us some options the following turn. Cast Talisman, and then pass. No attacks. If both Grape Shot and Wish go to exile, that'd be huge for me. Ritual. Ritual. What do you got? An opponent scoops? We'll take it. I mean, yeah, Jailer has proven time and time again, it is by and large the best card into Storm. So, if you're going to play plain Eldrazi, I think 3 of Jailer just makes too much sense. That said, we'll be back for match 2. Alright, and we're back for match 2 on the draw for game 1. We will keep this. Reveal and pass. Trigger. I mean, the 4th land is good. We alternatively could just rely on the Rumble, which we will end up playing, and just going Myco Spawn into Myco Spawn and just kind of, you know, kick their lands into the dust. So I think we go for the high roll. I also can go Wooded Foothills on 1 here, which I think is right, and set up for a commercial district to try and find us our 2nd soul land. There's an argument of maybe going Temple, just so that way we did have the option of if we drew into the Soul Land, then we'd be able to go Temple into Soul Land into Command X2 to set up for the Myco Spawn on 3. Maybe that actually is better because that would have given us more lines in comparison to right now. Yeah, I think that probably would have been more correct in comparison. So, slight mistake there. What are we playing against? Oh, hello, Hollow One. Ew. I'm in danger. Oh, I'm in danger, friends. Huh. Interesting. This could become a problem. Actually, how do I short of, okay. How can we proceed here? Because we're gonna need I mean, we don't need a blocker, but we're probably gonna need one. Yeah. I mean, we go Wooded Foothills in a commercial district. That's a guarantee. Trigger. The problem now is we go Rumble, sure, take 12, and we're dead to a Bolt. Yeah. We're just straight up dead to a Bolt. Unless we block. And even then, we're still not exactly in the best of positions. But Jukabog's a no. Into Grave you go. And draw. Cavern Souls, you're a little bit late, friend. Would have liked you a little bit sooner. Eldrazi Temp. Malevolent Rumble. There's our temple. I mean, this turn 2 and a turn 3 would be great in any other scenario, but not this one. So do we block is the question. I mean, I think we have to, right? We'll go down to... what? Also, I should probably hold up... no, this doesn't look like it is... Jund. So I mean, we block one of them. Down to 7. So, like, a blocker isn't enough. Because that's lethal on board, so we need to go Kozilek's command instead. Alternatively, if I had another green source, I could have gone Writhing Chrysalis, but we don't. Yeah, I think we go Eldrazi Temple and set up for command X equals 3. Goblin Lore. Oh, geez, that's a Detective's Phoenix. The good news here is that they need to fetch unless they have a land in hand. If they have an untapped land, okay, so I need to do this then. I need to ramp and exile cards in yard. So Phoenix, Lore, Lore. Done. We're not getting a hasty flying hollow one, please. Done. That is not happening. How do we proceed now? Faithless Looting, so they're looking for another hollow one or Vengevine. Brain Inquiry, Looting. So we need to at least block 2. Again, a bolt kills me if I let one through. But if we do that, I can play Devour to exile Vengevine. Have an extra blocker. No. I'd have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So no, I wouldn't be able to go Devourer is the problem. So I think I need to just block and hold up command again. Might be the only solution. We're holding on by a thread. There's Lab. Interesting. So at this point, we could go X equals 5, exile Vengevine or Hollow One, and then create blockers. I think that is what's needed. So we'll imprint Devourer. We could go Sowing Mycospawn. We could go kicked or non-kicked, right? Well, we could go kicked or non-kicked. And that leaves behind 3. I think we do continue to hold. Yeah, I think it's right as we have X equals 5. So I can exile Hollow One, create blockers. Faithless Looting, fine. The only scary part here will be a Detective's Phoenix. Thankfully, we can exile any of their creatures as needed. So even if they attack with a hasty Hollow One, we can still make it work. FOMO, okay. Shock, Stomping Grounds, do you flashback? That scares me. I think I need to cast this now. And done. Yeah, that inquiry absolutely frightens me. At that point, we'll pass. Okay, this looks good for me. So that actually was relatively positive. That is scary, however. Did not notice that Phoenix in the yard. So again, we're now at the mercy of a bolt. So I'll block. Down to 1. There's World Breaker. That is likely better than our Devourer. So I'll play our Gemstone. Because we'll be able to World Break the Detective's Phoenix. I would want to World Break the Hollow one. I really do. The one concern I have with doing that is that then they find another Detective's Phoenix. Then we're SOL, right? We currently have access to 1, 5, 7, 8. 8, 12 mana. Tempted to go Sowing Mycospawn. -3, 12. Let me confirm one more time. 5, 7, 8, 12. 12 to 9. Unfortunately, I can't play Chrysalis and Sowing Mycospawn at the same time. 2, 4, 6. Okay, so yes, we can do this. We'll play Sowing Mycospawn as another blocker. Gonna grab a forest. And then we're gonna cast World Breaker. And I'm gonna exile the Detective's Phoenix. At this point, we'll pass. And again, we're dead to a bolt, but otherwise we're in a decent position. At this point, we pass in full, and we're at the mercy of their top deck. And also Faithless Lootings. Yeah. Looting is scary right now. Because like I said, all it takes is a bolt. Brute Walla. Arena of Glory. Bolt. Mako. Okay. So confirming the amount of mana we have. 1, 5, 7, 8, 9, 9, 11. So 11 minus 2 would be 7. I'm tempted to Rumble, but I think it's correct for me to go Writhing Chris. Into Devourer of Destiny. And we'll exile the Hollow, oh not Hollow one, the Vengevine. I'm a little bit worried about the Mako, but we can deal with the Mako later. I don't think it's going to get as big as the Hollow one for right now. We physically can't attack with a World Break, and Mycospawn's too small to attack, so at this point, we'll hold. Again, we're at the mercy of their top deck and this Faithless Looting. Yep. There's a Street Wraith and a Vengevine. Mako will grow 2. Opponent's passing. Draw. Okay, so this gets interesting now. I could clear the board. If I do, what does this look like? 5, 11 lethal damage. So all I need is 10 mana. 1, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Shoot. Really? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, so here's what we can do. We can rumble. And try and find a temple. That works too. To confirm, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and opponent sees the line and scoops it up. By the hair of our teeth. By the skin of my teeth? Hair of my teeth. Yeah, no, hair of my teeth is not the same. Skin of my teeth. And again, teeth don't have skin either. Actually, kind of now I'm interested in looking up on what that saying, where that saying originates from. But yeah, opponent saw the line. Hollow One. Vandablast actually is a 1 mana sorcery speed kill spell for a Hollow One, funny enough. It is a bit cute. I think Return is so good though. I think Return Dismember is probably correct. You could probably also argue Jailer because it's the Vengevine version. Hollow One's just really awkward to attack, right? I think maybe just this. Bog is good. Ghost Quarters not as much. We'll of course dump the gemstone later. I think Worldbreaker is better than Devourer, honestly. So I wonder if we just cut to Devourer. Run it like that. Yeah, let's do that. You'll notice that I've cut down on 1 Devour, 1 Emrakul. Emrakul's numbers not so great right now. Sample size a little bit small, but overall just kind of shaky. I will keep. I think we exile the Emrakul. Gemstone Cavern, exile Emrakul, and pass. Mako, thankfully I can exile the Mako. All of the temples, all the time. Arid Mesa fetch. For a mountain. Goblin Lore. Hollow One Street Wraith Wraith. Or Hollow One Street Wraith Ox. I do want to get rid of that Ox at some point, but don't need to do so right this instant. X equals 1. And pass. Verdant Catacombs. Fetch. We'll go for a forest. And then a Writhing Chris. And pass. And hold. Let's Daymire fetch. Stomping Ground shock. Faithless looting. Thankfully we have reach on board. Vengevine's a bit scary, and the Root Wallow. So they have one more, the Vengevine comes back, but we have a big enough blocker where they're not going to want to attack. So that's okay. It's so wild to see Root Wallow scene play. There's so many, like, one-off cards. I'm like, man, that's strange. I mean, to be fair, I'm playing Writhing Chrysalis, right? So, like, I can't say too much in that regard. So they can't attack, thankfully. Well, correction. They can if they have a Detective's Phoenix. but they do not. So we're good. Why would you do that? This smells of a bolt. Got a block? I mean, if they have it, they have it. At the same time, I'm tempted just to take it. This feels like bait, right? Because we just grow the freaking Writhing Chrysalis out of range. But we can only go up to 6, which means it's in range of a bolt, so I'm just going to take. When it says GG's. We'll go temp. Confirming the amount of mana we have accessible to us right now. 2, 4, 5, 6, 9. So we can play both Writhing Chris and Null Drift. And we'll cast the Null Drift. We should be smart. Trigger. Stack. Always yield. These Writhing Chrysalis can just get so big so fast. It is kind of nutty. Cast the Null Drift. One more. Draw 2. At most they can attempt to deal me or pump this up to 6. I guess 7. I mean, if they want to trade their entire 2 creatures for the trade, they can go ahead, right? Okay. Drew into a return, so we can set up for the clear. The only thing that it would be a trouble for would be Null Drift. We'll pass in full. Arena of Glory's Stomping Grounds, and opponent will pass. I mean, they have to block here. We'll set up with a Malevolent Rumble. There's Null Drift. So I think that's just lethal now. Because we do this. We play Temp. And then cast Null Drift. So sack. Triggers. Always yield. Null Drifter is just too good. I really do think that Temur is the truth at this point. I think that we got way too distracted by Writhing Chrysalis post-Prog to really take note of how ridiculous Null Drifter is. And even when we look back at the data, before we made the shift to Gruul, when we were testing Temur, Null Drifter was performing really well. And it just got overshadowed by the new tech. We were testing it, Chrysalis was performing well, and now we're seeing Chrysalis, Sowing Micah Spawn, Null Drifter, Devour, the whole Eldrazi package just firing on all cylinders in the current meta. Now, obviously, this could change in 24 hours with Tarkir dropping on Moto. So it's hard to say what that's going to look like long term, if Ugin's going to get a chance, if maybe I'll run it as a 1 of, maybe a 2 of, maybe it replaces Emrakul in full, probably not. So yeah, it's going to be really interesting. I do though truly think that Temur is the truth for Eldrazi at this point. Having access to Consign, having access to Null Drifter, it is just a solid deck. That said, we'll be back for match 3. All right, enter back for match 3 on the play for game 1. I will keep. Would love this hand even more if it had a 7-mana value spell, but it don't, so we'll make it work though. Temple, pass. We'll still love to see a 7-mana value spell. We have 11 hits off the top, so 11? 12? Ooh. That's a piece of candy. Yes, I think we just hold the command. As much as I would like to go for the temple, I'm kind of afraid of a spell snare. A, B, if they play a frog, which I think might be the case, then command is just solid. Yeah, how many did I play? 6, 9, 11. Yeah. All right. So, like, I could play the command as a permission spell, and it still actually is a good option, because we should have enough then for Talisman into Rumble, so we'll go to end step. We will use it as a permission spell, then basically we're force checking. So let's send it. It might be possible, might be correct that we should just hold, but I think this is correct. Gets a counterspell out of hand if they have it. Main deck can sign. That makes me wonder if this might be Goryo's. Interesting. Null Drift. Ugin Lab. Imprint. Cast. Malevolent Rumble. Emrakul the Promised End. And pass. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So we got Emrakul next turn, uncounterable. So while they can counter the trigger, they will not be able to counter the body. Now, if this is Goryo's, how I think it might be, based on the consign main, we do need to worry about Solitude, which would be my only concern. The third color starts to make me think more and more that it is in fact Goryo's, but we'll have to wait and see. The Falaji, yeah, okay. The Falaji kind of seals the deal there. This is in fact Goryo's. It does make me wonder if I want to play the Emrakul this turn. They, no matter what, can't counter unless they play a flare. I mean, I guess it's not a bad idea just to play it safe. 4, 8, 10. Yeah, so we'll go Cavern of Souls. Name Eldrazi. I mean, at least this way, if they don't have the Solitude, then we're guaranteed to pitch their entire hand, exile their entire yard, and slam Frog into Emrakul. There is a consideration to just return here, though, but I think, I mean, if they had the Solitude, they'd have to pitch 2. Oh, it's just going to scoop. We'll take it. I am convinced, though, that this is Goryo's. So with that in mind, I think we need to go into Soulish Jailer. And return is okay. I think return is like actually really solid in almost every matchup, with the exception of like control. But this one's kind of okay. Like it hits Frog, it's the Falaji, whatever. Doesn't hit the Griselbrand, doesn't hit the Atraxa. Considering Dismember for Emperor Bones, I think that might be correct. So we cut Ghost Quarter, we keep the Bog, and I think we drop a World Break. And then if we make it to game 3, then we drop the Gemstone, bring the World Break back in. I don't think there's ever a time where I want to drop a Null Drifter. On the draw for game 2, would love to see a 7-mana value spell off the top. Otherwise, we'll go Windswept Teeth and pause on end step to fetch for Commercial District. Draw. Yep, that is the plan then. And pause and end step. There's the Froge. We'll fetch. Commercial district. Trigger. Temple. Top. Yeah. I had to think about that for a second. Temple. Rumble. We'll snap block the frog unless they float. Another Emrakul is a thought, but I mean, if we go triple Chrysalis, I think that would also just secure us the game. So I think we go Chrysalis over Emrakul here. And pass. And pass. Like I said, we'll snap block here. I guess there is a thought that maybe we should have grabbed Emrakul so that way I could have imprinted. Because right now we are banking on a 7-mana value spell or a green source, which like there are plenty of, so I'm not too... I'm in danger. Uh-oh. Well then. There's also a thought here. Hold on. Do I want to block? Because otherwise we could go, let's say, Single Ugin, play Talisman, then play Chris. I mean, if they pitch for... If they pitch 4, I take 5 down to, what, 14? Yeah, that's fine. You draw a card. So we go Sang to Mavukin. Play Talisman. Utopia Sprawl. For red. I guess we could go for green. We don't need double red very often. Alright, we pass. I mean, we're not blocking the Emrakul, that's for friggin' sure. So we're taking 13 at the very least. Yeah, maybe that was also, should have been another consideration of mine, assuming that this was, in fact... Oh, do you have Goryos? Oh no. And Emrakul's in exile? Okay. That scared me a lot more. Thoughtseize is fine. Ephem is okay. So they're looking for Goryos. Why pump the frog, though? That's what I don't understand. They took the Thoughtseize. They'll Thoughtseize me. They take a Chrysalis. Ingflame's Thoughtseize proof, and this hand's still pretty solid. They can pump that up to 5. I mean, I can block it, but I'm not exactly wanting to. The problem is that Emrakul sitting underneath Emperor Bones is scary. Opponent, I think, didn't mean to do that. Do what they did. And they just go, whoopsies. Emperor Bones takes Rumble, so trying to reduce the number of potential threats. Why not float the frog friend? And pass. Another Sprawl. Well, don't really need that right now. Okay, so, well, yeah. Well, I would like to do that. I find issue with that thought. Well, yeah, I guess we can do it regardless. And blue. And play loud. And done. And pass. I'm still in danger. Because, yeah, if they go Emperor Bones, hit Ulamog, that'll be Annihilator 13. Emperor Bones. Uh-huh. I'm in danger. Pick the Emrakul. You know you want to. It's my card. You like playing with my card. Oh, no? Yikes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. As did. Yeah, we'll concede. I is dead. So we were right about Goryo's Vengeance. So unfortunately for me, it very much did not matter whether or not I picked up that Emrakul off the Rumble. I do think I should have in retrospect. But yeah, that was unfortunate. We will cut the gemstone, bring back in the breaker, and run it back. Yeah, we need to be a bit more careful with our rumbles. I knew it was a thing, but also I was like, it'll be fine. It was not fine. This looks oddly familiar. I'll keep. Temple, pass. I mean, we have a lot of good hits off the top. Rumble, Command, Sowing Mycospawn, etc. 7 mana value spell. So. Watergrave, shock for a Thoughtseize. You should take the Talisman, funny enough. It does rob me of my immediate ability to cast the Writhing Chrysalis, but that's fine too. A breaker, you say? Let's, in that case, imprint the breaker. Cast the Talisman, and pass. So next turn we have a Writhing Chris. And the turn after that, I think we have breaker. Yes. Because 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, well, that's rude. Opponent. Do you have a land drop? Oh. Green. Oh, I guess the hard cast, the Atraxa. That makes sense. And draw. Utopia Sprawl. We will sprawl for blue. And I'll pass. And 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we do have the breaker for next turn. 2 to the Froge. And pause on end step. And return breaker to hand. And draw. Null Drift. I think we start off with breaker. Reduce the amount of mana available to them. Let's get rid of that Watergrave, shall we? Marsh Flats fetch for a Surveil land. So now we can cleanly block the frog. Once they pitch, what, 6? What you playing, friend? Another Froge. Okay. Sneaky reach time? No. And draw. Another breaker, you say? Well, don't mind if I do. Yeah, there's a lot of frogs running around, so it does make some sense to go up on breakers, which is what I did. I went from 1 breaker up to 3. Breakers number is apparently really good right now. Once again, small sample size, so we're seeing if it is relevant. Blue to Delta, Spell Bomb, that's fine. Passin', draw in. Let's play the Drifter. I want to tap this differently. Cast Drift. I'm going to hold back that green source for this Utopia Sprawl. And 1. Draw 2. You got a consign? No. I'll play the Sprawl, and we'll go for red. They'll be able to pitch, what, 3, 4 totals? Like, they could kill the Drifter. So I'm not sure if I do want to apply pressure. I think I do. So I'll attack with the World Break. Imagine they fetch Black Source, Spellbomb me, draw. That'd be my guess, at least. Down to 4, Spellbomb, draw a card. I mean, now Lethal's on board, so they need an extra blocker. We'll pass, which means they also can't attack. Did we get there? And we got there. Solid stuff. All right. That is a win for game 3. And for this match, on to match 4. All right. And we're back for match 4 on the play for game 1. Let's take a look, see. Yeah, we can keep this. It was actually pretty solid. Reveal, trigger. I'd like to find a Sowing Myco spawn. I guess we could also find one off the Rumble, so I'm not all too worried about finding it just off the Devourer. Another Malevolent Rumble. There's an argument for going for Emrakul. Yeah, let's go Emrakul. And Imprint. And pass. So next turn we'll Rumble. And pass. Courtyard. Thoughtseize. Should be taking Rumble most likely. That does put me on my back foot, I will admit. Especially as we exiled a second Malevolent Rumble. In that case, we will tuck a Breaker. May have been right to instead play the Breeding Pool tapped. At least this gets them thinking of potentially a K command. It's currently unknown. Yeah, maybe second Rumble was right. That's a noof. I'll hold up the ability to respond in case this is Blink and the White Organ Phantom main. Doesn't look like it though, so I'm gonna guess Felia. There's our Rumble. What we thinking, opponent? I mean, definitely have Felia. So they'll get rid of Yeesh. Rabbit Temple. The good news is, okay, so we have some good news, right? Right now we have 5. We'll be up to 7. Breaker will be able to trigger the return, clearing the Felia. If they have the Felia into Overlord, we can definitely just sweep board. But looks like they're going to Surveillance instead. So not a Felia, but definitely looks like it's Blink. Interesting. Very interesting. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So even if they have a White Orchid Phantom, we're still in a decent spot. Ketramos? Flickerwisp. Targeting the Ugin Lab of the Devourer? Yes, that makes sense to me. That actually doesn't do too much in the grand scheme, because it will flicker back. The question then becomes whether or not I want to tuck something else, because currently we have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 still for Worldbreaker and the clear to Flickerwisp. I think I'll hold... well, if we do that, then we don't need to worry about an Ethem Flickerwisp. So, okay, yeah, we'll go Emrakul. So 2, 4, 5, 6, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7. 2, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, so I think we'll just go Forest. Breaker. Get rid of the backstreet in case you play Verges. I'm gonna clear. No. And pass. We are short 1 now. If we want to try and play our breaker, our second breaker, Emrakul is the only downside. But if you draw into pretty much any card short of Emrakul, we can cast it. So we have a lot of hits right now. I think the best thing we could probably find is either another breaker or another Sowing Mycospawn, honestly. Witch Blessed Meadow, Bolt 13. Ketra. Ketra, that's so funny. Solitude, hits breaker. We can do something. No, we can't anymore, can we? 6, 8. Yeah, never mind. Null Drift, though. Null Drift is good. 2, 4, 6, 7. Null Drift. We will hold up a green source. That way, if you draw into a Utopia Sprawl, we can play it. Unfortunately, return does nothing. I want command, solid, no. And pass, so they'll get in with the Ketra, but that's not the end of the world. 2, Overlord. Overlord grabs back the Solitude. 2, 3 Solitudes in there, Jesus. Returns Flickerwisp. That's interesting. 2, 4, 6, 7. No blocks. I mean, so that means they're trying to grab back the Overlord. 2, 4, 6. Oh no, 2, 4, 5, 6. Yeah. Let's go to combat. Annihilator trigger. Sacrifice the Arid Mesa, question mark. Sacrifices the Witch Blessed, interesting. I can't play the Writhing Chris. So my thought here is that they'll play the Flickerwisp, we'll exile Ketra, and exile the 3 Solitudes in Yard. Yeah, I think that's right. We'll just hold. We have x equals 6. I would like to ramp those, the only thing. But if they get the Solitude, then like the Emrakul's pointless, etc., right? Prismatic Ending. Play the Plains. There's the Flickerwisp. Flickerwisp will target Overlord. So yes, what I'll do now is I think I'll exile. So exile Ketra, exile 1, 2, 3. Let's see here. I can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 deep. Which blessed, or which enchanter? Done. Five, no, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, yes. And done. And pass. No solitudes for you. Flicker Wisp Trigger. Grabs a Flicker Wisp. And draw. Temple, you say. Oh, first, I'm going to attack. Sacrifice the plains. You'll take 4 unless you block. You do not block. Cast, so we'll go... let's see, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So yes, we will tap the breaker, instead keep up the Emrakul. Oh, I was 1 short, or 1 off. 2, 4, 5, oh I was. And opponent scoops it up, so that's against Blink. Win for game 1, on to game 2. Blink is kind of interesting because the returns and dismembers are good, but so is Consign. Consign is actually really solid here because of the reflexive triggers. So there's a lot that I want in this matchup. The dismembers are kind of mandatory. We don't need Bog. Ghost Quarters is kind of hit or miss. I want the Misty. Cut the Ghost Court. That leaves us with 4. So like we could do something like Worldbreaker and Devour are good. Emrakul's okay. Like Worldbreaker hits Overlord, Devour hits both. I'm tempted to pitch the Emrakul just because it's sometimes hard to manage our grave. We can always bring that in on game 3 when we cut the gemstone. So like keep it something like this. Let's do a split between Consign, Dismember, Command, or Return. Yeah, we'll do that. I think it could be argued for like more returns or more consigns. But I think this is solid. Eyes will keep. Eyes will pass. So we go Misty Rainforest, Forest, Utopia Sprawl for blue. Fetch, Gala Shrine, Shock for a Thoughtseize. No, Relic. Okay, that's fine. Draw, Sign Mega Spawn. And I do need to attach this Utopia Sprawl to a basic. That's fine. In this matchup, normally you don't want to grab your basics because of White Orchid Phantom, but it is correct to do so here. Blue, pass, and pass. Ugin Lab, Imprint, and we could play Sowing Mycospawn. I think we hold for the command, because I think they could have Felia here. Let's see the fetch in the Felia. Do it. Relic target self? But why? I guess to get Ketramos online? Weird. We exile now to play around Ephem. And then pass. And hold. They play Ketra here, it's not the end of the world. It's going to be a hot minutes before Ketra will be online. Relic target me. Yep. This means they don't have Ketra. What do you have instead? Ember Bones? White Orchid Phantom. That's okay. Not ideal. Not the end of the world either. Yes, we lose out on the Devourer. Forest. And pass. Null Drift. 2, 3, 4, 5. So I think I will first off and foremost. Do we want to hold up the consign? Like on one hand, I want to tap this Sprawl for red. And that leaves me a 5. Green, red. We could go Windswept Teeth. Sanctum gets us up to... I guess actually Windswept Teeth would work as well. Yeah, let's go Windswept Teeth. Play Windswept Teeth. Fetch. For a Stomping Grounds question mark? Stomping Grounds. Shock. 2, 5. So we are still short. And the question then becomes whether or not I want to go for a lab, or it's rather a temple, or for a fetch. Because the benefit of the fetch is we could hold up the consign. 2, 4, 2, 4, 6, 7. Let's go for a fetch, as strange as it sounds. Because I'm kind of afraid of this white orchid being flickered. So let's go Wooded Foothills. And worst comes to worst, we Commercial District and call it a day. Ketramos, yes. Target, we will hit a land. You'll draw. The pause on end step. Attack for 2. No blocks. Fetch for Commercial District. Trigger. Devourer. Top. We are short 1 color source though, is the only downside. Null Drift. And draw 2. Ketra's still offline, so we can attack here. And pass. Not to mention we're not exactly going to be blocking Ketramos when they activate Relic again, right? So Ketra online, down to 11. Currently at 6. Go down to 5. Move in lab, Ketra trigger. Yeah, double relic is a bit scary. Double trigger, double draw. Yeah, the card advantage you... Once again, Wizards is so strange about the use of the phrase once per turn. So often do they stable it onto effects that likely don't need it. And then there's Ketramos and cards like it where they should have went, yeah, that should probably be a once per turn effect. It is fascinating to see sometimes. But we really do need to get rid of Ketra. What you got? Thoughtseize. You should take the Vower. If you don't take the Vower, you have a huge risk of me exiling that Ketra, and you do not want that right now. That is your best card on board, by and large. Like, yes, I can't cast it right now. That's a mistake. Because, yeah, now all it takes is me finding a temple, right? Draw. Rumble number 1. Which one is this? This is blue. And sure enough, there it is. I warned you, opponent. You just didn't listen. Exile Ketramos. Go to combat. Down to 5. So lethal's on board now. Marsh Flats. Another Ketramos. It is able to block. I will choose good sign. Down to 4. Down to 3. Be careful here, opponent. Well-timed Emrakul could give you some problems. They'll grab back Solitude. Yes. 5 cards in hand. Likely that they'll be able to evoke it. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I mean, if they relic again, we'll choose Rumble. Ketramos to 2. I mean, yeah, if we just simply get Emrakul, then it might just be GG's. Draw. Rumble. World Break. Chrysalis. Let's go World Break. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And we'll drop the Overlord. I mean, you can't attack, so we'll just pass. And pass. I mean, we're like one top deck away from just winning at any point now. Well, attack with Ketra. No reason for me not to double block here. Because now you put yourself in a pretty awkward position, right? Solitude, Solitude, the World Break, that's fine. Ketra. Now you have to block the Devourer. If you use those relics, then you're in trouble too. This is interesting. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. One short of Emrakul. Draw. Not to mention, we do only have one of, I suppose. Relic target me. We'll choose an artifact. Relic target me. We'll choose a Chrysalis. Interesting. Ba, 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 ba. I mean, I think I just simply attack with Devourer, forcing you to block. Yes. When they fetch on end step, that's when we're going to command the Ketra. Perfect timing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I think we scry draw exile here. Not to mention I want to hold up the blue. And done. Ketra down. Don't... I mean, I guess the return actually might not be bad. Interesting thoughts. Let's see. I mean, if the return clears, they're pretty much set. The Soy Mega Spawn's not really doing much, but yeah, I think Soy Mega Spawn can go. A little bit worried about like a White Orchid Phantom popping Temple, I suppose. Then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I guess we don't have to send it. So do I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so we'll do it like this. Top and top. And fetch. Shouting Backstreet, Surveil Trigger. And again, we're holding up our consign, which they do know about. Keeps it on top. Three, 4. Witch Blast. I mean, realistically speaking, it's kind of the same difference. We either use the consign or we don't. So I will choose you. No, thank you. I'd like my blue source, please. If they tap out here, we win. Okay, short of a Solitude. I guess they have Solitude. So we're not in the clear just yet, then. I will not block. Relic target dismember. Godless Shrine, shock down to 5. Interesting choices. Relic, yeah, that's fine. There's Solitude. Why Solitude now, though? I guess maybe out of concern of another consign. Could be. So let's see here. 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I mean, I kind of want to just hold up the return, to be honest. I think we do drift. So let's start by playing Talisman. Draw 2. Another command. Forest, and let's go attacking. Imagine you block. Yep. And pass. So command's solid. And if they attack with Solitude, we're not blocking in case they have a way to recur for another Witch Blessed, or Witch Enchanter rather. Would be my first thought. What the fresh what? Overlord of the Mistborns was an unexpected thing to see here, I'll be real. Now the good news is, I think we win as a result. Yes, we should win here. Because Overlord of the Mistmoors will come back in, we'll sweep the board, or actually we'll exile Mistmoors and then sweep the board. So we should be solid. Attack, that's 8. I mean, yeah, it doesn't really matter. Won't block. Flicker Wisp. Overlord. And draw. Temple. Wow. I'm going to 2, 4, so 2, 4, 6, 7, yes. So I can do both. I can scry, draw, and then I can sweep. So Mistmoor is down. Let's see here. Bottom. Other turn might not be a bad idea. Bottom, top, bottom, top, and top. Sweep. Combat. Relic, target, command. And attack for 7, down to 1. Annihilator, you get to choose. Why the green source, I'm just realizing. Huh. I actually don't know. Might be a sideboard card? Relic, sweep, draw. And Bone scoops it up. Solid win against Blink. Overlord of Mistmoors is interesting. I do like it. I think it is neat. Not sure if it's as good as like another Overlord of the Baelmer, but interesting at the very least. That said, we'll be back for match 5 and quite literally, but well, I mean literally, but also possibly our attempt at a 5-0. Alright, and we're back for match 5 on the draw for game 1. We cannot keep this. Like, theoretically speaking, yes, we could. I am not. I'll keep this, though. I'll pitch the bog, and done, and pass. We're going to go Forest, Utopia Sprawl Red, Temple, Pass, Hold Up Command. Running Catacombs and passing, interesting. Draw. Ghost Quota. For red. And pass. What say you, opponent? What is she gonna fetch for? Is it an underground mort? It is. So it could be Yogg. Could be Yogg. But surprised not to see a 1-drop if that's the case. Okay. Well, okay, could be the Rock. Toffee? Dark Bob. Okay, so Rock. Bit rocky. I mean, that's card advantage. I don't want you having card advantage. Even if it does hurt you. So I'm gonna go and do this now. No. Urborg. Bad Urborg. No, no Bob. Bob be gone. Next turn, I think we will World Break. Maybe get rid of Urborg. Probably Mort. It's a green source. They still have black regardless if we take out Urborg, right? Another underground Mort. Keeps it on top. And interesting. Raven's Crime. Pitch a Ghost Quarter? Retrace? Weird. I'm gonna pitch the Breaker. I think this could be the Rack. And pass. Draw. I'm gonna go Eldrazi Temp and Null Drift. It is the Rack. The Null Drift is going to ostensibly be the better option because now we're going to draw more. Null Drift, draw 2. Ooh, do like that. We'll pass. And we'll hold up the blade to respond. And if they retrace again, we'll just pitch the Wooded Foothill. Three for Lily. And we have a spawn to sack if that were the case. Unless this is Toxic Deluge. Yeah, you got it. Can't do much about that now, can I? Let's go Wooded Foothill, and we'll play Writhing Chris. And then hold. 2, 4. I mean, we could theoretically, but I'm not really too keen on bringing back World Breaker just yet. And if they go Deluge again, we just grow the Chrysalis. Dan is talent. Okay, so it is Rack. We were right. Unless they discard a non-land card. Well, good news for me. I got this return, and I like it in grave a whole lot more than I like it in hand. Do you do a Raven's Crime? Polluted Delta, no. Surprising. Would have thought you would have, given I only had 1 card left. Oh, hold up. May have spoken too soon. 2. I mean, I think it's just correct for me in this case to cast Command. And done. And stack. So in that case, we'll just go... What? Bottom, top, and top. And then pitch 2. And then pass. And draw. 4, 6, 7. And we'll devour a bandit's talent. No. And go to combat. And hold. Draw. And lethal damage on board, question mark? I wonder if they accidentally pass through their turn. What you got? I mean, if you have a... Okay, I was about to say, if you have a Fatal Push, that'll work. The Rack. The Rack is back. Yeah, I was expecting more towards, like, the Rock, not the Rack. Maybe Vandal Blast? Because it can destroy the Rack, but it can't destroy Bandit's talent, which... I mean, just as much of an issue. But then again, return really does nothing here, right? I mean, maybe that's not entirely true. I feel like they might run Dothy, so Dismember at least would be good. Well, then what else, right? I guess we could keep, like, a return, but Bojuka Bog's not doing much here. I feel like Ghost Quarter's not doing much here. So I guess we could just go 3 return, 2 Dismember and call it. Yeah. Let's play like that. Like, maybe Consign could be decent. It would counter the Rack itself, the Rack triggers, as well as Bandit talent triggers. So maybe Consign might be better than the return. But like I said, I'm a little bit concerned about Dothy. We saw Bob, of course. But I think Dothy is what I'm really worried about. You know, Dothy into Hand Disruption, take Emrakul. That would be a little bit frightening. Otherwise, what else am I worried about in this matchup? I guess, since it's kind of primary black, Break the Ice would be the other card a little bit worried about. Other than that, I think this is a solid matchup in my favor. On the draw of Gemstone. So I think we go keep, reveal, Gemstone, and exile, pass. Would love to see a soul land. Green source would be good as well. At the very least, we get a rumble here on turn 1, which is solid. Yeah, green source, soul land. All good hits. Passin', trigger. Ooh, that's a bit rough, methinks. We could go Sowing Myco. I also could just exile all and try and draw fresh, which I'm kind of tempted to do here. I'd really like another land if possible. Yeah, we'll draw fresh. Okay, well, sometimes you get it, sometimes you don't. Rumble. Yee, what the hell? I guess I'll grab a Talisman. That is no bueno. That is really not good. That was how many deep? 5, 9, and no lands? We're running 21, and we have 19? The odds of that are slim. That is quite upsetting. Mort. I mean, I guess the good news is, regardless, we get a setup for either Writhing Chrysalis or Mega Spawn on 2 for a kicked on 3, or Writhing Chrysalis on 2 for a kicked Mega Spawn on 3, so I'm not all too concerned. But still. There's Locthwain. Kind of surprised that and Vantress don't see more play. Both are pretty solid cards. I don't think even Vantress sees play in Control outside of Miracles, does it? There's Emperor Bones. A bit upsetting, but not the end of the world. Takes World Break. Thankfully it's not cast. Well, we definitely would like a blocker here soon. And draw. Jesus. I mean, we could drift and try and find a land. We're 10 deep. We have 19 hits. I mean, the best case scenario would be finding a lab off the top 2. I'm really tempted, but I think it's safer for us to just go Talisman Pass. Yeesh. I guess you could argue that the return could have been Ghost Quarter, the one that we exiled. Yeah, I suppose. Emperor Bones will take a Sowing Myco. I guess the Rumbler are trying to decrease for Emrakul, that makes sense. Yep. Attack for 2 will take... down to 18. I mean, worst case scenario here is... actually, yeah, never mind. I think evoking the Null Drifter would have been a horrendous idea in retrospect. What this? 3. Lily? Thinking Lily. Yeah, evoking Null Drifter is a horror... well, oh shit. Well, that sure was a Shatter's assumptions, wasn't it? Well, I think we just go Kozilek's Command, ramp, exile, hit the Emperor Bones. That way it can't grab the Null Drift. No thank you. And we'll pass at that point. Holy hell. Yeah, talk about a good hit. I mean, we were lagging behind because of lack of land drops, but still, that was rough. I mean, the best thing I could have had on board at that point was a... oof, Doffy. Was a Writhing Chris. Sure, take my Utopia Sprawl. Do it, coward. In fact, tap that Doffy for that Utopia Sprawl. Right now. Wow. So we need to just top deck really hot here. Oh, that ain't it. I could Ugin Lab. No, I was thinking like we could Ugin Lab, sack, like Sanctum for World Break. I mean, it's not a horrible idea. It's not great either. I'm tempted to. Because at least then we have World Breaker available to us. We know that it won't get exiled to Emperor Bones. And it's kind of net neutral as far as lands. Sacrifice Sanctum of Ugin. To hand. Imprint. Yeah, like I said, it's net neutral. It basically gives us a card available to us at all times now. Yeah, I kind of like that play. I think I should do that more often when we have that line available to us. Assassin's Trophy, rude as hell. Return to hand. Well, now a bit of an unfortunate circumstance that they could very well seize me. And then World Break. Swamp. Bandit's Talent. Wrenchmind. Yeah. I mean, the other option was just to let it go. Maybe that was right. I don't know. We have 2, 3, 4, 5. We found a temple. We would have been able to play it, right? So I think it was correct to bring it back, but now we're facing down one less land as a result. Best thing you can hit here is the gemstone, right? There's the World Break. Rude. Like I said, the gemstone's the right hit. That way I can't cast a Writhing Chrysalis. Let's see if opponent figures that out. They did not. I'm happy for it. I mean, we're not out of this, so... Let's see what we top deck. Well... I might as well. For blue, for red, I think for red. And pass. Right, is Assassin's Trophy non-basic? No, just target permanent. It's been a hot minute since I've seen Assassin's Trophy, so fair enough. I'll pass. And I think they have this one. I'd be surprised if they didn't. Also, it's starting to feel more and more like the Rock and not the Rack. As we haven't seen the Rack once nor a Saga, and we've just gotten lucky, but I feel hard-pressed to believe that to be the case. Like, it has Bob, it has Assassin's Trophy, Dothy, Trawler, Rude. Not really too worried about my yard right now. More worried about getting bodies on board. Draw. Stomping around tapped. We haven't seen Lily either. Like, so we could just have gotten lucky. It does feel a bit weird. This is 8. 8 down to 5. I mean, I think they have this. No blocks. Down to 5. Opponent double slams 2 racks. 3. 4. Deluge X1. I mean, lethal's on board now, yeah. So we get a blocker. We don't find a blocker. We will concede. Weird. Feels like a hybrid of like the Rack and the Rock, but that Shatter Assumptions was brutal. Alright, well, to sideboard we go. Yes, we will cut the gemstone for the Ghost Court. And I think just run it back, yeah? I was right about the Dothy. Yeah, let's just do that. Ironically, I guess Consigned Memory, we could counter our own Eldrazi that's got enough of Dothy. But I don't think we want to, like, get to that position, so I think the Dismembers and Cake Returns are better. We will keep This is pretty solid. Imprint. Cast Talisman. And pass. Because this hand is more or less Thoughtseize proof. I don't think there's... I think there's a right choice with Hand Disruption. But either way, we either get a Command X3 next turn or a Writhing Chrysalis. And both are pretty solid for me, so I'm pretty happy with this hand. Fetch. I have to assume that's going to be a Thoughtseize. And I think the right choice here is the command. A Rune Tomb Shock. And... Yep, take the command. I mean, I don't think there's a world where you can't. Not with me on the play. And a Temple in hand for an X3. It just would allow me to set up and sculpt my next 3 turns, if you allow it. So I don't think this is really a decision. I think there's only one right choice. Chrysalis can be killed by many a thing. This command will set me up for practically the rest of the game. Okay. Well, it took the right thing. And draw. Ooh, piece of candy. And Writhing Chris. And pass. Next turn we can play Devourer. Castle Lochthwain. And Bob. We'll exile Bob. Draw. World Break. I would rather you not have card advantage. Sack. Always yield. Be gone, Bob. And go to combat. Attack for 3, down to 12. And we have World Break next turn. I guess that explains what the green source is for, those Assassin's Trophies, yeah? We haven't seen anything else for green. I wouldn't be surprised if they play, like, Abrupt Decay for a control matchup, maybe? But Assassin's Trophy makes sense here. And it's not a good position for them to be in. Hell, even if they were to Toxic Deluge here, that is significant losses on their part. That would mean that I wouldn't be able to play the World Break, which would be pretty brutal. Opponent's Tinkin. Yeah, because the moment we are able to get attack in here is the moment they lose. Could be a Dothy. If it's Hand Disruption, I don't care. Because I think their only recourse for this board state is Toxic Deluge. But we got the win and the 5-0. Solid stuff. I think... I know I've been so wishy-washy on this, on like which version I want to play and which version I think should be played. I'm starting to think maybe based on the data, in the limited amount of data we have for Karn is not performing well. In the limited amount of data we have, Writhing Chrysalis is performing well. World Breaker is performing well. Null Drifter is performing well. Devourer is performing well. So like all the Eldrazi creatures just seem like absolute all-stars, with the exception of Emrakul, funny enough. Hence why I did drop down to 2. We'll see if we drop any further from there. Probably not, but we'll see. So I'm thinking maybe this is the sideboard I want to stick with the 3 Vandal Blast, Collector Oof, Soulless Jailer, Dismember, Return, and Consign. Obviously we didn't see much use for the Vandal Blast. I think that would mainly see use against Amulet Titan, in Affinity especially, as we can just blow up their entire board. So I think there are some good choices in that regard. We'll have to get more data, have to continue playing with Temur. I think I'll stick with Temur for now as I'm starting to look at the data and get more sense. Funny enough, the one card I actually am thinking about cutting depending might be Gemstone Caverns. We still need to get more data on that, right? Like, it makes sense that it wouldn't be bad, though maybe it's just the lack of data to demonstrate that right now it's not performing well. Not sure why that would be, because I think every time that I do get it activated, it is fantastic. But we'll have to figure that out, see why that might be the case. Then again, I think it's just too soon to say for any degree of certainty what cards are working well. Is like Rumble's also somehow being positioned as a bad card, and it doesn't make sense for like the 3 best cards in Rumble, Emrakul, and Gemstone to all of a sudden flip their numbers. So we'll have to figure that out, gather more data, and know for certain. But I think I'm settling in on this list, plus or minus a few things here and there as more data comes in. But overall, solid games, solid league, another 5-0 for Eldrazi ramp just in time for the reset tomorrow with the release of Tarkir, which means tomorrow we start being able to test with Ugin, whether that be in Tron, whether that be in Eldrazi ramp. I think I'll start in Eldrazi ramp first to try and see if maybe it has a home here. Like I said, though, I think Temur is the correct color for Eldrazi ramp, just having access to Consign. And also the Writhing Chrysalis, as we've seen time and time again, solid card. And while it can be clunky at times, don't get me wrong, it still is definitely playable, and I will openly state that I'll eat crow here and say that I was wrong. I think for a while I've been saying that Writhing Chrysalis in the Temur mana base just isn't functional. It wouldn't be able to support it well. I'll stand corrected. I didn't think it would. I tested it a few times. It felt clunky enough that I didn't want to play it, but the data is demonstrating that it's working just fine. So I stand corrected. But that being said, hopefully you guys did enjoy today's video. As always, if you did, please do consider hitting the like button. Comment down below if you did see any lines that I missed, any mistakes that I made, or just some general feedback. It is always appreciated. For as much as I hope that you will learn from me in both my success and my failure, I hope that you can teach me something as well. Last but not least, if you have reached the point in the video and aren't already, please do consider hitting the subscribe button. We're getting closer and closer to our next goal of 1,000 subscribers. With that being said, folks, I'll see you all next time. Bye-bye!